What's up guys, my name's Liam and today we're going to be taking a look at the collab between Vaxee and Ninjutso with the Sora. This mouse sparked a lot of controversy in the community when it was first announced, and I've never really gotten around to doing a proper review on the Sora V2. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking both of them down, comparing them to one another, and trying to help you decide which one of these could possibly be the perfect gaming mouse for you. So let's check it out. Before we get started today, I did want to let you know that this was sent out to me. However, everything you're going to be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Included inside the box, it does come with a USB-C to USB Type-A cable, and it also does come with their 4K wireless receiver. It does have a rubberized bottom down here, and here's the USB-C connectivity on the rear. So in similar fashion to all other Vaxee mice, over here on the bottom, there is not a software for this mouse. Everything can be controlled through the mouse itself. You're able to adjust things like the DPI, polling rate, click to bounce setting, lift off distance, and other types of features like that. And this is the power button, same as before. They do have the full skate design on here, and it did come pre-installed with these full-size skates, which I do appreciate. So over here we have the Sora V2, and I'll break down the differences in the shapes between these later on in the video. But just starting out with the build quality on both of these, the one thing I do want to tell you about the Sora V2 is ever since I have first received this mouse, I've had kind of a lot of different types of build quality issues with it. First off, just talking about the coating in general, the coating on my copy was pretty light, so not very grippy. And just this mouse in general, it's really flexible. Like if you were to squeeze on it pretty hard in game, I mean, not even really that hard. As you can see, I'm not putting a whole lot of force on there. The shell on this is pretty bendable. On top of that, I've had lots of types of issues with the clicks on this. Even though this does come with the AimAdapt opticals, which are some of my favorite switches, the implementation on this mouse just didn't feel at its best to me. You just get some play and switch grinding, even like some type of rocking here on the switches. But I just seem to notice that as I'm using this in game, you do notice that switch grinding back and forth. And the implementation on this, you kind of get that more hollow, pingy feeling once you get like up in this area on the clicks. That does tend to go away, and they get a little bit lighter feeling down here in the middle. But these clicks have just been kind of loose to me as I've been using them in game, and they haven't felt really responsive as I've been using them compared to some of the other AimAdapt optical implementations out there on the market. Another issue that I kind of ran into with this mouse is the implementation on the side buttons on my copy is just like really bad. I was getting really bad play back here in the rear. Like you can push it all the way in back here without even activating the side button. On top of that, it has really bad post travel. You can push it really far, like all the way into the shell there. So just everything kind of about the feeling of this mouse just in general was just kind of a letdown for me when I did get it. I did put the NINJUTSO Sora 4K as the #2 gaming mouse of the year last year on my tier list, and I really felt like everything about that mouse was just better than this. The click implementation on it, build quality and everything just felt like it was a step up over this. And I just want to be clear with you guys, even though I've had this mouse for a long time, almost a year, I honestly really haven't used it that much. I just haven't really been a fan of it since I got it. I also do prefer the original shape over the V2 shape, even though it's probably an unpopular opinion. I'll save that for a little bit later when we talk about the shapes. But jumping into this mouse, even though I haven't had this one nearly as long as this, just out of the box, everything about the feeling of this, you get that typical Vaxee experience. Pushing up here as hard as I can, you get like almost no bend or flex. And on top of that, it has the excellent Vaxee coating. I'm a huge fan of their coating personally. It just seems to work perfect with my drier set style hands. On top of that, the click implementation on this mouse compared to the Sora V2 is really just been a night and day difference for me. The clicks on it, they're actually really responsive. Like you get a really fast rebound, and they're just very easy to spam. But as you can see here, there's like no play on them. When I try and go left and right, I don't get any type of massive teetering or anything like that. So yeah, the clicks on this have felt really solid, and not just that itself, but just the click implementation all the way around from front to back. Like the clicks on this just feel so much better than my implementation did on the Sora V2. Coming over the scroll wheel, you get the standard type of thing. It's pretty tension, but I wouldn't say it's too heavy. and then you do get a little bit of a tighter center click there. Not that difficult really to spam on it. And then the side buttons on this, they also do feel a lot better. You get just a very minor amount of playback here in the rear, but as you can see, they're really responsive all the way from front to back. Even the same thing up here on the front side button. The post travel isn't nearly as bad on this. Very minimal wobbling, almost none there. And you get practically none up here on the front button. So yeah, the build quality between both of these, honestly, with my copy anyways of the Sora V2, has really just been a night and day difference. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop a quick quality sound check on both of these mice. That way, hopefully you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about and compare them to one another. The one thing that the Sora V2 clearly does have over the Vaxee Ninjutso Sora is going to be the weight. The balance on this is fantastic, and I'm not going to try and sit here and convince you guys like that, you know, there's no difference between 60 grams and 40 grams. Obviously, if you play with lighter style mice and gaming mice, like the Logitech G Pro Superlight or the Razer Viper V3 Pro, even though that one comes in around 54 grams, not really that far off from this in the overall scale of weight and being able to adjust to. But again, if those types of mice are too heavy for you, then this one is coming in at 60.3 grams, where the Sora V2 is coming in at 40 grams. When it comes to the performance on the Vaxee Ninjutso Sora, everything has been feeling fantastic to me. Unfortunately, the firmware that I have right now on my XLAT, the latest firmware, is not recognizing this mouse, so I'm unable to bring you any latency numbers at this time. I do apologize for that. The second that gets updated or changes, I promise you guys I will update you on that. All right, so when it comes to the shape of both of these mice, they're very similar to one another, but some of the things that I just tend to notice, I'll show you here really quick. Like I said, the Sora 4K, which used the older shape, was my #2 pick of the year last year. So I've already been like a huge fan of this original shape. And when I grip this mouse, I do a claw grip, something like this. One thing on the Sora V2 that they did is they made the back of this, they like brought it in and made it shorter. And for my grip style, I haven't really been liking that, because the way that I play with this is kind of a claw. I can switch in between some type of a fingertip, and if I need some additional stability, I can just pull the mouse in to the back of my palm right here. And the fact that they made the bottom of this like shorter, they kind of just tucked it in and made this curve down more aggressive, something along those lines. I just kind of find myself having to move up farther on the mouse to get more stability on it. And just the way that I grip this, I kind of find myself fighting with this front side button, and I just happen to accidentally activate all the time. So those are just some of the things that I've noticed about the differences of these shapes. And just honestly, the second that I got the Sora V2 in the hands, and again, this is probably an unpopular opinion, I do feel like a majority of people do prefer the changes over here on the V2. Just for me, since I was already such a fan of this original shape, I honestly, with my grip style and how I play and my hand size, I just have liked it so much more over the V2 personally. Alright guys, so that about wraps things up on the Ninjutso Vaxee Sora. and the Sora V2. So basically a breakdown on this video. The only thing really, to me, in my opinion, that the V2 has over this mouse is the fact of a lighter weight. The shape of this mouse and the way that I grip it, the weight has not been that much of a big issue to me. And honestly, everything else about this mouse is an improvement, in my opinion, over the Sora V2 for how I use it and how I game with it. And still to this day, I have not received the 8K wireless receiver. Who would have ever guessed when I got this mouse that Vaxee would have came out with their version of the Sora before I was able to receive the 8K receiver on the Sora V2. So really, aside from that, you know, I'm still kind of a little upset with Ninjutso because I felt like the customer service on this throughout the years, they really ghosted the community. We didn't get a lot of answers for a really long time. So with that being said, if you were to pick this up, I would personally recommend picking it up through Vaxee. I do feel like they have more solid customer service if this is something that you're interested in. But I honestly am really liking this mouse a lot. I think that Vaxee did a fantastic job on just the overall implementation and feeling of it. So if you have any questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.